Welcome back, everyone. Good evening. It is the Guidance by Tova Podcast, and I am Tova, back with another episode. So this week has been kind of crazy for me in my work/personal life. It's just been real busy, and I have just fallen off a little bit with making regular content. But I really wanted to make sure that I got this information out in audio form today before we get past the middle of the week, because I felt like this was an important topic to discuss. So I'm just going to get into it. I do have my notes in front of me, and I'm going to be kind of reading off of these notes. If you want to see these notes in written form before I record a show, they are available on my Patreon, and you can try my Patreon free for 7 days if you'd like, just to check out what I've already done and see if you like it. Otherwise, it is just $1 a month to read the text posts. So definitely check that out if that is something that you'd be interested in. A lot of times I can articulate myself better in writing than speaking, because I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to not say all the time, not say all the time, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to sit down and edit this either, so it might be a longer show, and it might be kind of weird and unedited, so here we go. You might hear my air conditioner in the background or a cat meow or something. So anyway, so the topic is self-forgiveness. This episode is titled The Art of Self-Forgiveness. And I feel like a lot of people walking around today in our lives don't really understand what it means to truly forgive yourself. And they don't really know what self-love means. I think there's a lot of people who proclaim that they are, these masters of I love myself, blah, blah, blah. But there's deeper layers to that I think people who are just putting on airs on social media don't even fully understand, and they're still avoiding things that if they took the time and put the effort in to uncover these things, just with themselves and practice, this art of self-forgiveness, that they would really see what it truly means to heal yourself and heal from trauma or from past things that created defense mechanisms, whatever. But we're about to get into all of that. So my hope is that this show is showing up for you at the perfect time, and you are going to be like, yes, thank you, Tova. This is exactly what I needed to know. So let's get into it. Disclaimer, this is not medical advice. I'm not a therapist. I'm just talking about the topic, and I'm talking about my experience, and you can take it or leave it. That is your choice as a sovereign divine being. So something I have spent a lot of time with is feelings of guilt and shame. Guilt and shame are ego-based responses to things that happen in our lives as children. We are taught to feel guilty for doing something wrong, sometimes for a prolonged period, or while we're being punished. Sometimes we feel like we have to feel guilty, otherwise we cannot be forgiven for whatever it is that we did. It kind of depends on how your parents decided to reprimand you, I think, but for me, that was a big part of it. Shame goes even deeper than that, and it's more of a chronic issue that we have with ourselves, where we feel like we're undeserving, or we're not worthy of love, or of doing things that make us happy, or going for something that we're interested in, Shame can be incredibly destructive to our lives in a long-term way, where our daily decisions are influenced by it. Often, shame can keep us from things that would be healing for us because we can't bear the idea of expressing ourselves authentically. Healing these aspects of our human reality, as these are natural in our day and age to experience, requires that we forgive ourselves. It's important, if you are on a path of healing, to be open to the idea of self-love. If you don't have to do it like anyone else does, as it's just you and yourself dealing with feelings of guilt and shame that are no longer protecting you and are instead prohibiting you from living your best life. So you probably can tell, but I'm reading from my notes right now. But I'm very tired, so you're just going to have to deal with it and absorb the information. Something that really changed things for me was to practice letting go of the idea that other people were perceiving me in a negative light when I expressed myself. I still struggle with that. I'm struggling with it right now. But what that shame was really doing was making it so I could not fully express what I wanted to, which in turn caused me to have feelings of something important missing in my life, leading to a prolonged sense of purposelessness. This is easier said than done, but if you practice, gradually it will get easier. What to do is when you have an idea to do something that would normally give you pause because of shame, but something you would know you would like to do, like post a video or star in a play or make a song, something that you feel embarrassed about doing, but that you still want to do it, the first thing to do is not allow yourself to back out of doing it by any means necessary. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to be like, all right, this is something that I want to do. Remember, that first impulse of really wanting to express yourself in a creative way that brings you joy, and hold on to it. Write down why you want to do it so much, or record a voice memo or a video of yourself feeling excited about it. If you can, that's probably a little more difficult to do. Next, with that in your toolbox, recognize when the feelings of "but what if" start coming up. Just notice them and notice how your body feels when these things come up. What you will likely notice is that you will feel that voice of a parent in the back of your mind, like it's wagging a finger at you saying, no, you don't need to do that, and giving you a bunch of excuses. And if you are interested in a great book by Wayne Dyer that goes into excuses that we tell ourselves so we can avoid doing things that we want to do in our lives, check out the book Excuses Be Gone. He goes through every excuse a person could possibly have for not doing what makes them happy and gives rational ways to refute them. Practice refuting your excuses, and while doing so, understand that this is all coming from the ego, which is holding your trauma and trying to protect you. You can see your ego as your child self, or a part of yourself that struggles to relax and let things happen that are unfamiliar, and unfamiliar always feels unsafe to the traumatized parts of us. Practicing some basic meditation techniques like grounding and doing basic breath work like square breathing can help with feeling unsafe. I used to wake up every morning for about a year in a full-blown panic, hyperventilating, crying, shaking, for no apparent reason other than that I felt unsafe in my waking life. The thing is, there was nothing immediately wrong. I was safe as could be the entire time, and for all intents and purposes, I didn't have anything to worry about as far as life or death sorts of danger. We could go deeper into how to transmute your what-if thoughts, so you can actually take action on what you want to do or create, but for now, let's keep focusing on what it means to forgive yourself. We all carry memories of things we have done that we wish we could erase. You need to make the decision now that those feelings do not affect your sense of self-worth. Affirmation work is helpful to change your mindset on this because it's hard to believe it in the moment. One thing that helped me was feeling grateful for my body and mind that have kept me going all this time. Giving yourself a hug can go a long way. I remember I was going through like a self-therapy, transformative experience where I was confronting some realizations about like something that happened to me in the past. I actually don't remember what the topic was, but I was really going through it and I was crying. And I decided to just like give myself a hug and be like, you know what? I got you now. You know, like we are in this together. Thank you for everything. I'm here for you. I'm going to keep you safe. And doing that for yourself is so important. And people are afraid of doing that. They're like, oh, it's icky. It feels weird. And it's like, of course it feels weird. You've never done it before. But I'm telling you, give it a try. It's an extremely healing experience. Saying affirmations like, I forgive myself for the way I acted, or I am still worthy of love, even though this event happened in my past, can really help to begin to shift your perception of yourself. The way you perceive yourself really dictates how you move in the world throughout every single day. How can you expect to live the life you want if you are always cowering? Something else you can try is asking yourself, what do I have to lose? It makes me think of in Fight Club when Tyler Durden says, it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. Losing everything in this context would be letting go of all of these defense mechanisms that are actually harming you. It is very scary to let walls down and do things that make you feel vulnerable, but what do you have to lose? And if you lose it, will it be the end of the world? These are important questions to ask yourself when you feel like you aren't worthy of what you want. It really does all come back to fear of the unknown. Keep chipping away at this ego armor every day, and I guarantee that you will see a difference. Fight fear with love, and you will see amazing transformations in your life. This is such an important lesson on our healing journeys, and I hope this short podcast has helped you to gain some insight and perspective as far as exactly what sorts of practical steps you can take to forgive yourself and live the life you want to live, and that you deserve to live. Tune in next week for another episode, hopefully on time. I appreciate you all listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Look out for content on my Instagram and YouTube discussing the upcoming full moon on Friday. And I will see you on the next one. Very short podcast. Sorry I read all of my notes, but it is what it is. Hopefully you got something out of this. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.